Welcome back to the most exciting season of the GCIL Bachelor yet. Our Bachelor Hank has been very serious about his journey for love, and as such there are only a few dates left. We're down to one group date, hometowns, fantasy suites, and a possible proposal. But the question remains, will Hank find the one? He's down to just Henry, Evan L., Evan P., Justpreet, XD, and Clara. So sit back, relax, and get ready for the best season finale of GCIL Bachelor history. After a brief mid-season hiatus, it is time for us to reunite with our Bachelor Hank for the end of his journey to love. We are down to only 6 final contestants, and with just a few dates left, it's time for some love to grow and other hearts to break.
This dog is fat as shit. Holy hell.
I hope Clara wins Hank's heart.
Clara left with more enemies than romances after developing into this season's villain. Her relationship with Hank was seen by others as being obsessive and overbearing. Concerns were voiced for his safety. After allegations of her human rights violations in Kentucky surfaced, Hank determined it was time to let Clara go.
Absolutely love him, adore him with all my heart, want to cuddle him all the time, even though he doesn't want to cuddle with me back. Yeah, love you, baby.
He loves me. He loves me not.
Henry was the next to feel the sting of Hank's rejection. He set up a last-minute 2-on-1 with himself and XD after becoming jealous of XD's early lead, and after fears surfaced that his strange nightly habits of sucking the blood out of his victims and needing to sleep in a coffin had made Hank feel uncomfortable. The date was a safari trip, but the only animals Henry spotted were the animalistic interactions between Hank and XD. After the thigh touches became too much to handle, Henry knew he would be the only victim that night. With Henry and Clara gone, we are down to our final 4, which means it's time for the hometown dates. And the hometown dates means it's also time for Justpreet to be eliminated. He chose to take XD on his hometown instead of Hank. Well, this is not actually against the rules, it did hurt Hank's feelings. Justpreet didn't think his family or herd of goats would approve of Hank's bachelor ways and agreed it was best if he left. Next up, it was time for fantasy suites with our final 3, XD, Evan L, and Evan P. Hank had clear chemistry with each one, but his emotional connections with Evan P and Evan L had progressed in ways his relationship with XD hadn't. It was obvious on this night that physical attraction was all there was between them, and after Hank spent some more time with Evan P, even that was starting to fade. It was XD's turn to say his goodbyes. We're down to only 2 contestants, which means it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Who will Hank choose, Evan P or Evan L? Will Hank find true happiness? It's time for us to find out. Are you afraid that Hank's gonna choose somebody else?
You know, I think that Hank, my love, is pretty strong. And I am not too worried about anyone else coming in between us, you know?
What's the one thing Hank could do that would hurt you the most?
Choose Lester.
Despite having so much love for both men in his life, after spending a lot of time really thinking things through, Hank realized he saw Evan P as more of a father figure than a soulmate. His love for Evan L was strong, and Hank poured his heart out in the most romantic proposal this show has ever seen.
You know what I want? I want to get a little drunk with you tonight. Not falling down, just a little drunk. I want to talk to you and plan with you. Listen and laugh.
It seemed as though Hank had found his happily ever after. But maybe forever doesn't last that long. The next day, our camera crew caught Evan P and Evan L running away together. It seemed while competing for Hank's heart, the two had found a love of their own. What's your honest opinion on Evan Lester?
He's just too perfect. It just makes everyone else around him feel worse about themselves.
After suffering such heartbreak, Hank left the show, and no one has heard from him since. Rumors that he has rekindled with his ex, Riku, have gone unconfirmed. And that brings us to the end of this whirlwind season. We've seen love, loss, betrayal, and so many quads. It's truly been a wonderful journey. I'm Casey Harrison, and thank you for joining us for this season of the GCIL Bachelor.